He was a time traveler that became a pharaoh. Let's get into it and find out who is Rama-Tut. Nathaniel Richards was born on Earth 6311 in the 30th century. He became bored of his life in his peaceful, non-eventful world. He had become a fan of the heroic age of Earth 616 and longed for adventure. He built a time machine which he made to resemble a sphinx. He planned to plunder different time periods of weaponry and technology while using ancient Egypt as his time period of operations. His time machine, looking like a sphinx, would allow him to exploit the Egyptians' religious beliefs. When his time machine was operational, he journeyed back to ancient Egypt. As he arrived, the ship malfunctioned, leading to him crashing. He was injured and blinded in the crash, but found and nursed back to health. Once healthy, although still blind, he was able to use his technology to take over the kingdom. He began going by the name Rama-Tut. Soon after, he found a cure to restore his vision. Part of his plan in Egypt was to find the young mutant, En-Sabah-Nur, who would grow to become Apocalypse. He wanted to mold and groom the young mutant to become his heir. It was at this time a series of coincidental events occurred. In the original story, it was just the arrival of the Fantastic Four. But since then, Marvel has gone back and layered on other stories, with the West Coast Avengers, Khonshu, Doctor Strange, and En-Sabah-Nur all being there. So, the Fantastic Four had traveled back in time in hopes of finding a cure for Alicia Masters' blindness. Shortly after arriving, they were captured by Rama-Tut's men and brought to him. The Fantastic Four was enslaved, and Rama-Tut intended to take Sue as his bride. Right around the same time, the West Coast Avengers arrived in the time period looking for Rama-Tut's time machine. They were defeated by Rama-Tut and dumped in Khonshu's temple to die. Khonshu wasn't happy with Rama-Tut being around, so he saved the West Coast Avengers in return for them ousting Rama-Tut. Meanwhile, Doctor Strange arrived in the time period on his own mission. He was also captured by Rama-Tut's men, but continued his mission in his astral form. He saw the Thing had been captured and used his magic to transform the Thing back to his human form, which released him from his oversized shackles. On top of all that was going on, Rama-Tut's men also located En-Sabah-Nur and brought him to Rama-Tut. En-Sabah-Nur rejected Rama-Tut and was imprisoned. The Thing was able to free the Fantastic Four. The West Coast Avengers were battling Rama-Tut's men, and En-Sabah-Nur's mutant powers manifested, so he had escaped and was causing havoc. With his empire falling apart, Rama-Tut fled to his time ship, which was functional, and he bounced. He headed back to his own time period, but due to a time storm, he ended up in the 20th century outside of the planet Jupiter. There, he rescued Dr. Doom, who he found floating in space. He was intrigued with Doom since Doom could possibly be one of his ancestors. After helping Doom return to Earth, he was inspired by Doom and created his own armor and began going by the Scarlet Centurion. Well, that's a wrap for today. As always, I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day to stop by the channel and check out these videos. Please like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you again real soon. I'm outie. Peace.